busy period, but of course that's the way you want it to be as a top club this time of year. But 3 matches in 9 days, I think it's 4 in 12. And a game on a carpet rather than a quagmire. How much of a difference will that make?
Of course, we like to play on a good surface. I think every team does. It makes football a little bit more easy. But then it's always going to be that you both compete. 2 teams compete on the same surface, and we competed with Real Madrid, and both teams have to deal with it. And I think going back to that game, they were very clinical. We didn't come up in our best performance, but we don't blame the pitch because we both had to deal with it. So we definitely want to do better next week, but now it's Liverpool tomorrow.
And we're going to talk about Liverpool, I promise, and you're very magnanimous not to blame the pitch, but there's been a big hullabaloo about it, well beyond Arsenal and Madrid. Are you surprised how much has been made of it?
No, I think it's good. I think women's football deserves to play on good surfaces. Not the least because of player injury risk as well.
I was going to ask you about that. There was a ligament injury, wasn't there? Do you think that was down to the pitch? I know not for you.
That's not for me to assess, and I think that will be a hard call for anyone to make, to say why that happened. But of course there happened an injury on the pitch, and yeah, we want good pitches for player health.
So what's the mood like with these games coming thick and fast, big games as well? How do you prepare for that? Is that something that you and the players are actually relishing? Yes.
We want to play, and for the time that I've been here, we have been playing all the time. So this is weekly business for us, and we love to be here, and that's why we play. We love to train, but we love to play games even more.
How vital though is this period, these next 2 games? Because obviously you're still alive in both competitions, more so in the Champions League than the WSL. But are you favouring one over the other? Can you do that?
No. So at the moment, I just look at tomorrow, Liverpool, WSL, great opportunity, and then later in the week we have another game to look forward to. So I'm not gonna pick one over the other or make decisions. So because of one or the other, it's tomorrow against Liverpool.
Even though I guess, logically speaking, your best chance of silverware comes with the game on Wednesday.
Yeah, and we're always going to try and do our best to prepare for all games in all competitions. I think that's fair to the club and what we are a part of, to always prepare 100% and try to win every football game we play.
Liverpool obviously played them earlier this month and they beat you, a bit of a surprise result, I guess. Have you learnt anything from that in terms of preparing for them in your team talk?
Yeah, of course, impressed with what Liverpool is doing. I think Amber seems to have done a really good job. They're a hard team to beat, very disciplined, and they work very hard in the way they play. But yeah, I think against all opposition you see opportunities, and all teams have threats. So we try to learn from the game and nullify as much as possible what they can bring to a game, and we see opportunities for ourselves.
Also, the FA Cup was a competition you would have liked to have gone further in and potentially won. Does revenge come into it? Can that be an incentive for tomorrow?
Yeah, so there's a lot of incentives for the players. It's what we're a part of, the history of the club. It's the team. It's them individually, what they want to achieve in their careers, and then it's of course where we come from. The loss against Liverpool, and a big part of our incentive and motivation tomorrow is also the fans that we're going to have at the Emirates.
And the fact that these next 2 big games come at home, in front of a big crowd at the Emirates, obviously on telly as well, on Sky tomorrow. How important is that?
It's good. I'm happy the women's game is growing, and I think it needs to level up. So what we are delivering as a product, and how all people inside are working really hard to grow the women's game, but then also getting the support from outside and it being broadcasted and the fan base being so big. So it needs to grow together, and I think that's what's happening at the moment.
And you've been asked this, of course, before, but what role can the fans play tomorrow night?
Yeah, so it's our duty to, whatever, if we play without fans, we still need to represent the badge, and we're playing in the league, so we need to do what we need to do. So that's the most important thing. But we also know that with these fans that are following us everywhere, the interaction with them and the energy that they bring, they can bring us something extra.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Helen?
Yes, hi Renee. I was just wondering, following on from some of that, about there's a lot of noise at the moment, just like noise about everything, about every game, every player, every squad selection, every substitution, blah, blah, blah. And I wondered how you kind of managed to sort of shut that out.
By just not knowing about it.
But it comes up in every, it comes up in every question and everything, doesn't it?
I talk to you guys at the press conference, and I have some interviews, and of course, maybe you get challenged or questioned. But no, my most important thing is what we do on the inside. So, and I do question or assess myself, my own performances as well, of course. But yeah, I always try to do my best with all the information I can gather in the moment to make the right decisions. And yeah, but so no, I don't know what's happening on the outside. But thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. But Steph Catley, when we spoke to her earlier this season, she said for her to decompress, basically, she takes her dog for a walk. Sometimes with Beth as well, they take their dogs out, whatever. And I wondered if you had something that you do that is like, some people say that as they walk through a door, they can actually switch off. And I wonder if you have something that you do.
Not something specific. I think I had quite some hobbies and things that made me relax. Back in the place where I lived in Malmö, we had a outside garden, loved gardening, board games, friends, going to restaurants, anything. So, but here it's a lot of work, and it's a new environment for me. But I definitely find ways. I go for walks, listen to podcasts, meet up with people, call my friends at home. So there's plenty of opportunities for me to switch off. But we are in a very busy period, so my brain is going 100 miles an hour, and it doesn't really always stop when I come home.
Well, you can't pretend this. 100 miles an hour is too fast. Stop it. We were just talking to Frida outside. Myself and Tom were talking to Frida just now, and she mentioned the word revenge. That seems to come up quite a bit. And when I talked to Alessia on whenever it was, Tuesday, I think, no, Monday, she said she never thinks of revenge, but I think that might just be her. But is that definitely something that you feel from quite a few of the players?
I think exactly what you say, all human beings find different triggers and work differently, and some get motivated by it and others need something else. So I think we probably have a couple of players in the squad that find that extra motivation because of the last result, but other players find their motivation and energy somewhere else. So that's always going to be the challenge to try and trigger everyone the right way.
One of the other things that sort of came up was, we were talking about the score, with it being a two-legged tie, and what came up was the clarity of the task. You know exactly what you've got to do. I mean, does that kind of help, that you know exactly what the task is next week?
Yeah, no, I think whatever the result would have been in Madrid, you know the task. So, yeah, we know what the task is. Of course, it's 2-0 to Madrid, and we need to turn it around. So, and we need to find ways to do that. But I'm not there in my head yet, so I'm thinking about tomorrow and Liverpool. That's all we've been talking about today, and that's all the footage I've seen, and that's on my mind and the players' minds at the moment. So we look forward to tomorrow and play against Liverpool.
That's what I was going to ask you about then. So the Liverpool and Madrid, the things that I've been thinking about quite a bit is they play in a similar way. We were talking about it before, weren't we, about them being fast on the break. And it feels to me like Liverpool, in a way, is the ideal preparation for playing Real Madrid again, because they play in this same style where they hold right back. I think Real Madrid will play 9 at the back on. That's just a tip for you, by the way, with one up front and no midfield. But I think Liverpool play in a similar way. If you saw them play against Man United, where they resist, and just pile forward really fast.
Yeah, no.
Is that fair?
Yeah, there are similarities, but I think it wouldn't do justice to Liverpool at all and the WSL if we would look at the game in that way. So we don't see it as anything else than just Liverpool and what we need to do tomorrow. But there's definitely similarities between the two teams.
Okay, so does that mean you have been, when you do your whiteboard with yours, you can pretty much just put Real Madrid off and put Liverpool on, kind of thing?
Yeah. But there's two things. You need to think short term. That's the next game. That's tomorrow. but of course I'm not going into a block of games without knowing what's ahead of us. So there's always those two things, but everything we do today is about tomorrow.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Tom.
Thanks for speaking to us, Renee. I wanted to ask, obviously, Amber Whiteley's doing a great job, but she's an interim coach. Obviously, you've been a really successful interim coach this year. Is there something that can give you a bit of an edge in terms of understanding her mentality and the fact that she is now an interim coach and you have such experience of being an interim coach?
Interesting question. I think I do understand maybe what Liverpool is going through as a team, and I do understand that can bring them something extra. So I think it just creates an awareness inside me and inside our squad, us as a team, that this is what Liverpool is going through at the moment. That's where we were 6 months ago. So without elaborating on exactly what that is, it just helps me being aware of what the opposition might be doing and what's happening in their camp.
Sure. And I want to ask about Kim Little as well. I thought she played really well last week. How important is it to have those kind of leaders that you can lean on in these busy periods and potentially difficult periods as well?
Yeah, so all players are important, and of course Kim's our captain. She's a very important player for us. She's played so many big games. She's a role model for the rest of the squad. So I'm happy she's with us and she's fit and she's contributing, and people can lean on her. So that's a big strength of us to have Kim, but I think everyone as a person brings something to the team, whatever that is. You can lead and guide the team forward. So all other players can do that as well. So yeah, we have a great squad, great players, and in different ways, different leadership on the pitch.
Sure. I wanted to ask you about Rosa Kafaji as well. Firstly, I wanted to know what you felt her best position is. And secondly, I wanted to ask about your thought process around not bringing her on in midweek.
Yeah, so she can play on all attacking positions for us. We know that she was playing as a 10 for Häcken when she came to us, and I think she's very strong in that position. Not saying that she can't play in the other three attacking roles. Rosa is a great player, young player, talented player with huge potential. At the moment, with the availability in our squad, we have so many good players available, so it's a lot of decisions for us to make around selection and making the right decisions of players on the pitch, starting and finishing games. We believe in Rosa for now and for the future, and sometimes young players have to have a little bit of patience and work really hard, and then the chances will come.
Sure. And how do you kind of deal with that, like when you've got so many players that are so eager to play in these like season-defining games? And obviously, there's only 11 places on the pitch. You know, you can't play everyone. Like, as a manager, how do you deal with that within the group?
It's one of the big challenges, I think, of being a manager, and then especially with this squad. I don't know that there's not many squads in the world that look like this. So it's a big challenge. Try to be proactive at times. You need to manage expectations. I need to be very sharp with my decisions. I need to see what's happening in the group and how players react. And I think I need to be fair and honest with everyone with how I'm thinking. And then I have to commit to my ideas, and hopefully everyone commits to what we're doing. And then not always everyone will agree, because everyone wants to play, and that's just reality. Sometimes it's about agreeing to disagree as well. But no, so big thing is I have to commit to my ideas, and I have to think short and long term. And the players are training really well, working really hard. Everyone wants it, and I think everyone should have that drive to wanting to play as many minutes, of course, because if you don't have that drive, then you're not getting the best out of yourself. So no, it's beautiful. It's good to be part of this team, and it's challenging at moments, but it's part of my job, and I have to take that as well. I'm trying to do my best to get the team in as good as possible position to perform.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. We'll come to the call now. Tim.
Can I just quickly check on team news, Renee, whether Daphne or Lotte will be back in the squad tomorrow?
Yeah, so Lotte is not available Daphne is available. And Laia Codina still has some issues that she's dealing with, so she's a question mark.
And can I ask as well, I know I asked you on Tuesday night about managing transitional threats. At the moment, it's been a bit of an issue, and obviously it's a question Liverpool are going to pose tomorrow, and I just wonder where you think maybe that stems from. Is that to do with the pressing? You mentioned that Real were able to hit that diagonal ball a lot. Is it maybe you push Kyra on quite high to the press? Is that leaving a gap? I'm just wondering how you diagnose that issue recently of dealing with transitional threats.
I think credit to Real Madrid of being so clinical, because I don't think they have a lot of them, but the ones they get, they are clinical on. But of course, against top opposition, you can't give away anything. You need to stop everything, because there's too much quality in the opposition teams to be able to capitalize on it. So, but there's different things. If you look at the open play goals we've conceded this block, they're not all exactly the same. They come from different restarts or different ball starts. So, but yeah, we are a lot on the ball, and opposition knows that. So we have to be really good when we lose the ball with how we react and how we position ourselves.
Thanks. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Cheers, Tim. Emma.
Hi Renee, just a simple one from me. Are Liverpool more dangerous now than they perhaps were a few weeks ago?
I think they've always been a very good team, tough team to get through. But I think you can see there's a couple of players on their team now, and I think in general a confident team. So they believe in what they're doing, and I also think they've gotten maximum reward for the good things they're doing the last 2 games. So we're definitely very aware of where they're at as a team and the threats they can pose on us.